Alright guys, Maltese here, and today there's been a sort of mini update, I like to call it, with the new weekly quests added in and an unvaulted item added into the game. So in today's video we're just going to go over the unvaulted item and also with the future of where Fortnite's going for the rest of the season. Before I start the video, I just want to give a massive shout out to everybody who's been watching, liking and commenting on all the videos. It's been absolutely fantastic to hear some of the comments and see some of the feedback, and even if these videos just help one person, then I'm over the moon with that. So it's really appreciated, and I just want to thank you guys. First thing I want to talk about is the new item that's been added into the game. It's been unvaulted, which is the Crash Pad Juniors. These were first added in Chapter 4, Season 4, before being vaulted during the OG season, I believe. But now they're back. They're a utility item which you can use for mobility. You can use a few at a time simultaneously to bounce across a certain area. They're pretty decent item. You can use them for when you fall and when you need to jump a distance from height and you don't want to take any damage. You can use them to land. Like I say, if you haven't got the grapple blade or the shockwave grenades, then these are the next best thing. I don't see them being taken over the shockwave grenades. They're not as good as the shockwave grenades in my opinion, but some people do like to have them, and they'll bounce across, you know, 3 or 4 of them to get across to where they need to be. You can use them obviously to get into fights and get away from fights and stuff, but they're just not as effective as the shockwaves in my opinion, but they're still not a bad item. Like I say, certain people do seem to really like them. I remember in Chapter 4, Season 4, they were quite popular when they first come out. Everyone was sort of bouncing around on them, but they're sort of, I think that they're sort of better for build mode rather than zero build, but they're still obviously a useful item to have. But like I say, overall, for the minute, I still see shockwaves and grapple blade being my sort of go-to for mobility items. I don't really see myself using the crash pads that much unless, you know, I didn't have any shockwaves or grapple blades, then I'd pick them up definitely. But if, you know, I had the choice between one or the other, I would be picking the shockwave or the grapple blade up. But that's the item that's been added into the game. That's the only item that's been added into the game this week. So obviously I imagine that in the next update next week we'll probably get another item added in or a new weapon. We know Chapter 5 Season 2 is due to start on March the 8th, but before that we will still have a couple of updates going forward before that season starts. We've got the Solid Snake skin coming out in 7 days time, which is a big Metal Gear Solid fan. I'm really looking forward to that, and I bet you there's a lot of people who can't wait to get their hands on that skin. And there's been some leaks online in the last couple of days about bigger updates coming during the rest of the season before Chapter 2 starts, and one of them is in line with in 7 days time with the Solid Snake skin coming on the 23rd of January. That's the first big update, and I know there was a few people chattering about they believe that the augments might come today, but they haven't come today, and obviously there is a likelihood that they're possibly going to come on this first update that's going to be coming on the, like say, the 23rd of January. We can see from the milestone quests that the augments were planned to come in for whatever reason they weren't in at the beginning of the season, but they've put them in definitely coming in later at some point in this season. You can see that in also where we have our collections that the augments are empty, but they are still there, so there is big talk of them coming at this new update. The rest of the updates were slated for February the 6th, February the 20th, and then obviously Chapter 5 Season 2 starts on March the 8th, but you can check online about them. Obviously they could change depending on Epic and what they do at the time. Now for any of the newer players who might have joined us during the OG season or even just Chapter 5, as if you look in the lobby before you go into your game mode, you can see there's a lot of players at the minute, so I know there'll be a lot of new players out there who won't have seen the augments because we only got them in Chapter 4. They are sort of abilities, superpowers that you can get. And how they worked in chapter 4 is they stacked. You could get up to 5. They would just come after sort of every storm circle. You would get a choice out of 2 different ones, 3 different ones, and you could pick which one you wanted to use. And every storm circle you could choose a different one, and it was just sort of random which one you got. It was there was no sort of anything to say which it was dependent on. It was just sort of a random roll. You could use gold to roll to try and get different ones. Like I say, the augments were like abilities that you could get during the game, which would give you sort of powers. You know, you could get different types. There was different varieties. Some were utility, some were for faster movement, some were healing. You could have ones that would heal you while swimming. You could have ones that would give you certain mythic items or items that were in the game at the time. You could just get the item off a roll, off an augment. You could get an ability where if you had a marksman rifle, like a sniper rifle, and you hit someone with it, it would tag them. It would put a little red mark above the head, and you could see if they're hid in a bush or anything like that. And you would have it for the whole game, so it wasn't just like a one-use thing. So there was some pretty good augments that you could use. There was other augments that would do extra headshot damage with assault rifles, or there was an augment that would reload your shotgun if you were sprinting, or there was an augment that would reload your assault rifle. If you didn't miss so many shots, it would give you bullets back in your clip. So they're just something that just add a little something to the game. The augments, the little abilities just change the way the game gets played out. People will be looking for certain augments as the game goes along, and towards the end everyone will have sort of different abilities, and depending on how the game's playing out, things like high ground, where the circle is in water and stuff, it can change the way the games actually go. So they're pretty cool. I didn't mind them. I know some people weren't lovers of them, but I didn't mind them at all. I thought they had a little something different to the gameplay. And you know, if you're finding, you know, ways that you want to use the augments that you like to use and can benefit your gameplay, they can actually be quite decent. So they're going to be coming soon, possibly as soon as next Tuesday, 7 days time. So keep your eye out for them coming into the game. Another big thing that I've noticed in the game today, more specifically today, I don't know if anyone else has noticed it or this is just me, but I felt like the bosses seem to have had a massive upgrade in the damage that they do. The way they fight seems so much more aggressive. The bullets don't just fly all over. They seem to like be hitting a lot more, but also they seem to have a lot of more guards than they did. I was looking at a video that I did the other day, and I took 3 of the bosses down within 30 seconds, and the 2 guards that they make appear when you take the shield were there, and maybe 1 other guard. And then today I've noticed I've tried to take Valeria a few times today and Oscar a few times today, and both of them seem like the difficulty spike on dealing with them alone, just without anyone trying to third party it, has gone up. So I'm not sure if that's something that's been tweaked in the game or not, or it's just something that is just I've had some easy times taking them on, and it's always been like that. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention, because like I say, I don't know what the deal with it is, but it definitely felt like today they have been a lot harder to take, the boss locations. And I've noticed that it seems a lot quieter in some of them boss locations, which is a bit strange, as if other people have noticed that it's quite hard taking them on, so we won't land there. But yeah, that's just a personal thought from me. I don't know if that's actually something that has happened or not, but like I say, it just definitely seemed like they were a lot harder today. But going forward, there will be, obviously, like I say, a couple more updates this season before the season ends, so look out for them. There'll be new items that are getting added in, and obviously, like I say, the Solid Snake skin will be coming in, so that we've got that to look forward to.